I'm going to show you the compatibility and incompatibility of the C1 with a number of cranks here. On the table before me I have cranks from all the major manufacturers, as well as some cranks that are incompatible, and I'm going to show you that as well. Basically what we're looking for good compatibility is the surface located on the inboard side of the crank must lie perfectly flat on top of the chainring sensor. So the sensor is the interior portion here, and then none of these crank arms or these spider arms can come in contact with any of the sensor cover locations. And I'll show you what a good fit looks like. This is a Shimano 105 crank. And you'll notice that each one of the spider arms lays perfectly flat. It's all 100% in contact with the sensor. And none of the locations in between the spider arms on the crank are coming in contact with any of the sensor arms or the sensor cover, the plastic part that's covering the actual power meter sensor. And I'm just going to rotate that so that you can see that none of those portions are coming in contact. Now that is a good fit. I'm going to show you one that doesn't fit now, and this is the Cannondale hologram crank. And one of the things that makes it incompatible, and you'll notice, is that the spider here faces outward. And you'll notice that the crank actually bottoms out. I can't even get it anywhere close. The crank spider actually bottoms out on the interior portion of the sensor. So this is an incompatibility. The other incompatibility I want to show you before we get into some of the other ones that are compatible is the Campy. We get the question on Campy all the time, and what Campy does, it's a little bit unique, is they have one bolt hidden on the crank arm, so it's actually in line with the crank arm. And what makes that an incompatibility is that if I were to line up all of the chainring bolt holes on the sensor, I actually get good contact. And you might think that this is compatible, but you'll notice that the chainring ramps and pins are shifted 30 degrees. Now that makes it incompatible because you'll have pretty poor shifting if you were to bolt this to the power meter. One of the other things you'll notice is that you're kind of left hanging here with this fifth bolt that's in line with the crank. The chainring bolt actually won't fit in there. So that is why Campy cranks are incompatible. Now let's take a look at some of the ones that are compatible. And this particular crank is the Turn Ziante, I believe it's called. And this one mates up just fine. Getting perfect contact with all of the points in between the spider and the sensor. So this is a perfect fit. This is a BB30 crank. Works quite well. The next one we're going to look at is the FSA Energy crank. Now this is also the BB 386 version of this crank. It's a very nice alloy crank. Same thing, full contact, all of the spider arm locations with the sensor, and no contact. Even though it's quite tight, you'll notice a very small space in there. It is not in contact, so this one works perfectly. Some of the carbon models, we get this question quite often, if it's compatible with carbon cranks, and yes it is. This is the Team issue from FSA. This is probably one of the tighter ones, but you'll notice that We get full contact again, and then no contact, even though it's extremely tight in between the lower spider arms and the sensor cover. Again, no contact, so we're actually compatible with this. This is an older version of the SRAM rival. It's a 10-speed version actually, but this one, perfect compatibility here. No contact with any of the sensor cover on the spider arms, and the bolt holes line up and are in full contact with the sensor. This is the FSA SLK Lite. This one, again, perfect compatibility. All the surfaces are in contact, and no contact in between the sensor cover and the spider arms. And one more here. This is the S version of the carbon from SRAM. And this one, again, just works perfectly. Good contact on all of the bolt hole surfaces, and no contact between the sensor cover and the crank spider arms. For a full list of compatibility, the most up-to-date list, that is, of compatibility between the C1 and the major crank manufacturers' cranks, please go to PowerTap.com or give us a call. We'd be happy to answer any questions you have on specific crank compatibility. Thank you. If you like that video and want to watch more PowerTap videos, click here. If you want to subscribe to our PowerTap YouTube channel, click here. Thank you.